shalakaya chakshurun militam jena tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam. Jai Sapadika Shri Shri Guru Gaur Chandraju Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhanju Ki Jai. Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Paribrajaka Charchastatar Sata Shri Shiman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Paribrajaka Charcha Astatar Sata Shri Shiman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. I don't think this is very loud. Is it working? Is it? I mean, I know it's working. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mission morning class. Dandavat. Jai, continuing Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Antya Lila, this is text number 172, and this is the second chapter, page number 209 in this version. This is the last verse of the second chapter, actually. So we'll be starting chapter 3 today. But I wanted to go back and read this whole purport because it's really a very important point which has been made in this chapter. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hari Bol Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Ki Jai Srila Om Vishnupada Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Sri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Jara Ash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishnadas. This is always the last verse of each chapter. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj tells this verse. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. And then this purport says instructions from this chapter. So this is a really nice purport. Summarizing this chapter, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that one should derive from it the following lessons. 1. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is an incarnation of mercy, he nevertheless gave up the company of one of his personal associates, namely Junior Haridas, for if he had not done so, pseudo-devotees would have taken advantage of Junior Haridas's fault by using it as an excuse to live as devotees and at the same time have illicit sexual connections. Such activities would have demoralized the cult. Prabhupada used to use this word cult as at that time it didn't have a negative connotation. The culture of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and as a result, devotees would surely have gone to a hellish life in the name of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can ask any questions as you like. Number 2, by chastising Junior Haridas, the Lord set a standard for all acharyas, or the heads of institutions propagating the Chaitanya cult, and for all actual devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to maintain the highest standard. Number 3, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed that a pure devotee should be simple and free from sinful activities. For thus, one can become a bona fide servant. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught his followers how to observe the renounced order strictly. And number 4, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to prove that his devotees are exalted and that their character is ideal. He kindly accepts his faithful devotees and teaches them how much tribulation and disturbance can be produced by even a slight deviation from the strict principles of devotional life. And number 5, by chastising Junior Haridas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his mercy towards him. And this is a very deep internal thing. Thus showing how elevated was Junior Haridas's devotion for him. Because of this transcendental relationship, the Lord corrected even a slight offense committed by his pure devotee. Therefore, one who wants to be a pure devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should give up all material sense gratification. Otherwise, the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are very difficult to attain. And number 6, if one dies in such a celebrated holy place as Prayag, Mathura, or Vrindavan, one can be relieved of the reactions to sinful life and then attain the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And number 7, although a pure or faithful devotee may fall down, he nevertheless ultimately gets the chance to go back home, back to Godhead by the mercy of the Lord. So these are all the instructions from this one chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Any questions about that? So this story it's a very deep story, and it's externally, it's difficult initially, at least not maybe for everyone, but for me it was personally challenging for me to understand this. Not to accept it, but I couldn't understand it very well. And we've been given so much instruction about this. Coming to a deeper understanding, much deeper understanding about devotional life than previously. So these challenges will come. And then by hearing again and again and again in a faithful mood, we have to, we can assume that if I don't understand something, it's because I don't understand it, not because there's something wrong with it. So then now it's been very, very instructive for me, deeply instructive for me. And I'm super bowing down at the holy lotus feet of Junior Harida and to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose sweetness and mercy is deeper than we can conceive of. But through these divine pastimes in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can associate, or we can somehow come in contact with these great associates of Mahaprabhu and really find a deeper and deeper connection and understanding of the mercy of Mahaprabhu. So in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying, one should apply his intelligence to understand the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What other thing are we going to use our intelligence for? For that and for the application of that in devotional service. Any questions? Chapter 3, the glories of Srila Haridas Thakur. A summary of the third chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur as follows. A beautiful young Brahmin girl in Jagannath Puri had a very handsome son who was coming every day to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This was not very much to the liking of Damodar Pandit, however, who therefore told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you display so much love for this boy, people will doubt your character. People are so suspicious. But that is necessary to understand in preaching and be above all criticism, even by suspicious persons. Hearing these words from Damodar Pandit, the Lord sent him to Navadvip to supervise the affairs of his mother Shachi Devi. He also especially requested Damodar Pandit to remind his mother that he was sometimes going to her home to accept the food she offered. Thus, following the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Damodar Pandit went to Navadvip, taking with him all kinds of prasadam from Lord Jagannath. So in the last chapter we heard 3 ways in which the Lord associates with others. Can you remember, Haridev Prabhu? One of them is...
Can you please repeat the question?
In this last chapter we heard about 3 ways in which the Lord associates with others.
3 ways in which...
Remember?
Is that different from which
Remember?
ways he appeared?
Yes. No, it's the same.
It's the same?
Yeah.
Oh, it was 4 ways.
Oh, 4. Thank you. Okay.
One is whenever Lord Nityananda dances in ecstasy, he appears.
This is one of the ways. And that's the appearance. But he's always appearing in 4 places. Whether he's somewhere else ostensibly, one of the ways he associates with his devotees and the populace is by appearing. So the 4 places in which he appears are not ways, but places.
Okay. And another places or ways in which he appears?
Well, we can give 4 examples of where Mahaprabhu is always appearing, always appearing.
So in the first way that he associates with his devotees?
Well, no, the 4 I'm sorry.
So it will be Lord Nityananda's, where Lord Nityananda's dances in ecstasy.
Yes.
Another place where he appears is in the house of Mother
Shachi Devi, which is what this is about.
The next place is in the house of Haridas.
Do you have this? Do you have the?
Thank God I didn't have the microphone.
No, it's my fault.
Okay.
No, I was thinking of the 3 ways in which he associates, but one of them is that he appears, and so he's sending Damodar, who actually did not speak properly, he's saying, you go and see Shachi Devi and in Bengal, and you tell her, I appear there when she's offering food, and I take it. Because she'll doubt that. She's thinking, is Nimai here? I feel like, was Nimai here? And all the prasadam's gone. Or did I go mad? Did a dog come and eat all this? So one of those 4 places is in the home of Shachi Devi. And then 2 more?
In the house of Srivat Pandit.
In the courtyard of Srivas Pandit
during the Kirtan.
And in the house of Raghava Pandit.
Raghava Pandit. And that's one way only.
Yes, these are Mahaprabhu can appear like in the story of Nishingananda Brahmachari and so on, but he's always in these 4 places. In those 4 places. But he can appear in other situations also, of course. But that is one of the 3 ways in which the Lord is associating with the devotees. One is by appearance. On another occasion, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once inquired from Haridas Thakur, who was known as Brahma Haridas, how the Yavanas, or persons bereft of Vedic culture, would be delivered in the Kali Yuga. Haridas Thakur replied that their deliverance would be possible if they very loudly chanted the Hare Krishna mantra, for hearing of the Hare Krishna mantra chanted loudly, even with but little realization, would help them. Krishna iti yasya. So this is, again, coming to Upadesamrita. What kind of chanting will that be? Kanishta Adhikari chanting is chanting even the name once, but without offense. He's not fully aware, he's not committed to chanting, he's not taking shelter of the Vaishnava, taking initiation, but he's chanting, but not as a sahajya, not as a Mayavadi. You know, the Mayavadis chant, but is totally offensive, that chanting is not going to be helpful. So even once chanting the name, but innocently, then that is can change the whole trajectory of your existence. But it is important that it's innocent, not using the holy name for some misusing the holy name, in other words. After describing this incident, the author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita also describes how Haridas Thakur was tested at Benapol, a village near Shantipur. A person named Ramachandra Khan, who is envious of Haridas Thakur, sent a professional prostitute to attempt to defame him. But by the mercy of Haridas Thakur, even the prostitute was delivered. She became a very famous Vaishnava. And that prostitute was Maya Devi herself.
Wow.
She came to do that job. And Haridas Thakur was like, yes, yes, yes. Just after I chant my rounds, but he was chanting all day long. And then finally, by hearing that chanting, she became completely pure-hearted, and she was bowing down, oh, please forgive me. And so she shaved her head. Haridas Thakur left that place. She said, you stay here, it's like a cave or something. Worship Tulsi Devi. Chant, he initiated her into chanting of the holy name. And she became very famous. And people would come and, take care of her. She didn't do anything for her own livelihood, making sure that she had enough food or anything. But people would come and bring her prasadam, and she lived like that for the rest of her life. So Ramachandra Khan sent a professional prostitute to attempt to defame him, but by the mercy of Haridas Thakur, even the prostitute was delivered. Because of offending a pure devotee, Ramachandra Khan was later cursed by Nityananda Prabhu and ruined. From Benapol, Haridas Thakur went to the village known as Chandapur, where he lived at the house of Balaramacharya. Thereafter, Haridas Thakur was received by two brothers known as Hiranya and Govardhan Majumadar. But in the course of a discussion, he was offended by a caste Brahmin known as Gopal Chakravarti. Because of this offense, Gopal Chakravarti was punished by being afflicted with leprosy. Haridas Thakur later left Chandapur and went to the house of Advaita Acharya, where he was tested by Maya Devi, the personification. Oh, that was a different time. Sorry, that was another time. It was Maya Devi who came. The personification of the external energy. She also received his favor by being blessed with the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So the great devotees don't take offense. They're not offended by anyone, actually. That offense is being reckoned by the Lord. They're not worried about offense. And many times the offender becomes gets much grace from that person. But to offend a pure devotee who is the purest, innocent, conceivable personality, most magnanimous well-wisher of everyone, the Lord can't tolerate that. And there can be very severe reaction. So once, when Durvasa Muni offended Ambarish Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj had been fasting, and he was. It was a vrata, or a vow, concerning. It's Krishna's vow. It's for Krishna, and it means, just like we have on Dvadashi, we have the time when we have to break our fast. Mm-hmm. And that's as important as the fasting. You should always have that on the calendar. I mean, it's always there, but to look on Dvadashi, not to break the fast before or after this time frame. It's a vrata. It's a vow. So the time came for him to break his fast. But Durvasa Muni had come with his followers, and he had to, when a guest is coming, you don't eat before them. You know, there you made prasadam. First you serve them and then you take something. But he couldn't wait because the vrata had finished. So he asked the Brahmins, what shall I do? And they said, just take a drop of water. Then everything is good. But Durvasa tends to curse. He's a follower of Lord Shiva. And he tends to want to curse people if they do any little thing wrong. And really we see his name in different incidents. And people saw every once in a while scared of him, but he's very powerful. So Durvasa Muni, coming back, could sense that Ambarish Maharaj had taken one drop of water and decided that he had completely broken the laws of etiquette, of receiving a guest, especially a Brahmin guest like that. Ambarish being a Kshatriya, and he cursed him. And as soon as he cursed Ambarish Maharaj, the Sudarshan Chakra arrived. Chakra of the Lord. And went after Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni, by his mystic powers, is traveling all over the planes of the material universal planes of consciousness, going here and there, trying to find someone who could save him. No one, of course, could. Finally he went to Vishnu. Everyone's like, well, what do you want us to do? We can't do anything about the Sudarshan Chakra. Nor do we want to. And then he finally went to the Lord. He's like, and blaming the Lord. Why are you taking his part? He's a Kshatriya. You're supposed to be the friend of the Brahmins. And he made this. And the Lord said, first of all, you've come to me now, but Ambarish was following my vrata. He was doing this all for me. So why are you objecting to him doing this properly? And he did the minimum thing, tiny little drop of water, although he'd been fasting for a really long time. And number 2, why are you running? Are you so afraid of death? Ambarish wasn't running from your curse. He's accepting it as being my will. And in fact, he hasn't stopped fasting because he feels he's offended a Brahmin. So he's continuing to fast and feeling very bad. But what are you doing? And then he said, well, please forgive me, my Lord. He said, no, you go to Ambarish if you want forgiveness. And you bow down to him. Jai Sri Sri Guru Gaurachandra Jai Giraju Ki Jai. And then Durvasa went there, and Ambarish so gracious, so gentle. Oh no, it is my offense. So these are examples of this type of thing. Although Haridas Thakur is completely tolerant. He's not like, you have offended me. So what he's saying, if you offend Guru, make it like a real conscious offense. We're always making offense. We can't hardly help it. But we're trying to progress in that. But he says, yeah, then you have no shelter anywhere. It's not because Guru is going to curse you. And even if he does chastise you or punish you, it's 100% for your upliftment. But Krishna cannot tolerate it. And we're talking about offense, like real offense. Like I'm doing something really wrong. So we're trying to become very conscious about these things, because the offense is not some random rule. that's just in the scriptures and not, or some random thing like, oh, you don't do this in front of the Emperor of China because then he's going to have you burned alive or something like that. It's not like that. Offense means there's something in our consciousness which is very egregiously wrong and needs to be dealt with by us and the grace of the divine environment. So we have to really be on our toes to see what is in our own selves.
Oh no.
So okay. See you, Prabhu. All right. Okay, so on another occasion. So this is the introduction of this, and it's covering some of the things that we have already been discussing. And that's it. That's the time for this class. Do you have your printout? You should also tell Jai Garanga he's needed here in the morning.
What was that?
I'll talk to you later. Manasadriyeta. Haribol. Any questions about that? So there are so many beautiful points that are being, beautiful truths that are coming out. Hare Krishna. And just a thought before we begin Upadesamrita. Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai. I can talk about that later. Okay. Jai Sri Sri Upadesamrita ki jai.
Jai.
Sri Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai.
Jai.
Sad Goswami Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga. Their holy lotus feet, which are the shining light of this world. Ki jai.
Jai.
All right, so let's chat. We are still reading the commentary on verse number 6 by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Sridhar Goswami Maharaj ki jai. And that's why I'm reading only this commentary, because really these are very, very condensed things. So we don't want to do it. All right. Sri Upadesamrita, memorizing as far as possible without looking. Vacho Vegam, Manasakroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Pasta Vegam, Etam Vegam Yo Vishaheta Dira, Sarvam Apimam Prithivim Sasisyat. I love that. It's really helping me out a lot. When the challenges come from the environment, we can look, which button is being pushed? Vacho Vegam, blah, 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 blah. Have to always have something coming out of my mouth. Or speaking inappropriately in the wrong time, or speaking without due consideration before speaking, and then having to regret that. So many things. Anyway, we can go on and on, but it is very helpful. Very, very helpful to keep these in mind and notice, like the doctor says, pushes that. Does this hurt? Does that hurt? Does that hurt? So I'm saying that the environment is coming, let's see which vegam is being pushed. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha jana sangascha loyam cha sadbhya bhaktir vinashati. Do you still have that? Can you read the second one? Or you don't have to read it really.
Okay. Over accumulation, over endeavor, unnecessary talk.
About?
Misapplication of the rules.
Jana sangas.
Yeah. association with non-devotees, and fickle-mindedness.
Fickle-mindedness.
Fickle-mindedness. Devotion is being destroyed by these 6 faults.
Okay. If anyone during the day comes across something that illuminates anything in the Upadesamrita, any of these, you can bring them to the class in the morning, because it's really, really wonderful to meditate. This is a book given to us from the holy hand, you could say, of Srila Rupa Goswami. We cannot underestimate the value of this book. Utsan Shayatarya Tatakar
Mapravartanad Sangatyaga Sato Virte Sati
Bhakti
Prasidyati.
Prasidyati. Enthusiasm, conviction, perseverance, engaging in favorable activities, giving up bad association, and always following the conduct of the great Vaishnavas. Devotion is nourished by these 6 qualities. And then, Dadati Patigrhnati, Guhyam Makyati Prichati, Bhunte Bojayate Chaiva, Sadvidam Priti Lakshanam. Want to read that one? A little louder this time.
Giving and accepting gifts, discussing and inquiring about confidential matters, and giving up and partaking of foods are the 6 characteristics of love.
Krishneti asya giritam manasadriyeta dikshasti chet pranativischa bhajantamisam shushushaya bhajana vigyam ananyamanya nindadi shunya vidamipsita shangalabhya. Honor within the mind those who chant Krishna's name. Honor with obeisance those who are initiated and who serve the Lord. Honor with service those who are expert in devotion, who are exclusively devoted, whose hearts are free from the duality of criticizing and praising others, and who are the most desirable association. Means, yeah, okay. Haribol. So here we are again, got this all parallel, as Mahaprabhu was saying, the Kanishta Adhikari chanted the name once without offense, innocently, in other words. Because when I heard that, I thought, it's going to be a long time before I'm a Kanishta Adhikari, because I have never chanted the pure name, that's for sure. But it means pure, meaning not in a nasty way, in an innocent way. So we give honor to that person. But with obeisances, that is the Majjhima Adhikari, who's engaged in devotional service, who's taken initiation, who's made a commitment, and who's going on in his practicing life. And then with every bit of service we can do, honoring those who are Uttama Adhikari, who are free from, perfectly pure, fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Tishtai svabhavitanite vapushashta doshe na prakritatvam iha bhakta janasya pasyed gangamba samna kalu buddha pena pankaya brahmadravatvam apagachati sniradharmai brahmadravatvam apagachati niradharmai. Do not consider devotees in this world mundane because of faults in their nature and body. The water of the Ganges never loses its spiritual nature because of bubbles, foam, and mud, which are natural in water. So that's number 6, and we're continuing to read Srila Guru Maharaj's commentary. There's a really beautiful talk by Gurudev on this subject. he starts out with, I was today wondering what is evolution and what is revolution. And he's saying, it goes on, it's an amazing talk, it's very, very beautiful. But he's saying that Krishna, those who are fully devoted to Krishna, which is just, it's a very high conception, fully devoted to Krishna. He said, whatever they do, it is very good. He has done wrong, it is very good. Krishna is so happy with them. But this is because whatever they're doing is in complete surrender. It doesn't even matter whether by the standard of ordinary morality or more, social custom or anything, how that is to be judged. So this is a very extraordinary, Guru Maharaj said, this is subjective revolution. Anyway, it's a really, really nice talk. And it's so funny at the end. I've heard this talk so many times, and every time at the end of the talk, I have to burst out laughing. It's kind of hard to explain why it's funny, because at the end of Srila Prabhupada's talks, he also said, thank you very much. He always said that at the end of his formal talks. And at the end of this talk, Srila Gurudev says, very nice subjects today, very nice discussions. And then he goes, thank you very much. And everybody bursts out laughing. It's so funny and so sweet. Anyhow. Okay, page 133 in the middle. Here, Krishna says, whatever he has done, if he is exclusively given to myself, he should be considered as my devotee. Samyak vyavasito he sa. And whatever he is doing is 100% right. But then the next passage says, Kshiprang bhavati dharmatma. Very soon he will be a man of righteousness. Oh, he will become dharmatma, fruitful. Of course, this is from Gita, that apichet sudracharo bhajate mamananyabhak sadhureva samantavya samyag vyavasito hisa. As Yamaraj, so that seems contradictory. Do you follow? He's saying he's already perfect, and pretty soon he's going to become religious. It's like, what? It's very different. So, this is a story. But then, so as Yamaraj, Brahma, and Narada discussed this point, a question came up. Krishna says, Bhajate Mam Ananyabhak, one who is my exclusive devotee. The question arises, what is exclusive devotion, or Ananyabhak? Krishna says, give up all other religious conceptions and surrender to me alone. Sarvadharman prityaja ekam sharanam braja. That is exclusive devotion. But if one is practicing exclusive devotion, then one is already dharmatma. That's dharmatma. That's a lower thing. Religious, righteous. That's a lower thing than exclusive devotion to Krishna. So why is Krishna saying, if you are Ananyabhak, if you have exclusive devotion, very soon you're going to become righteous. And they're discussing this. Even Narada and Brahma and Shiva, Brahma and Yamaraj, they're all discussing this. What does that mean? How is it then that in the very next verse, Krishna says, soon he becomes Dharmatma? How are we to adjust this? Krishna says, Shitram bhavati Dharmatma sasvat chantim nigachati konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. He soon becomes righteous, Dharmatma, and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Do you follow the difficulty? Do you? Krishna is saying, my devotee, my exclusive pure devotee, he can't do wrong. And very soon he will become righteous or religious. Religious is way below exclusive devotion. So how can Krishna say that this Ananya Bhakt devotee, exclusive devotee, will someday become righteous? That's a contradiction. This is the general meaning of the verse. Krishna tells Arjuna, he soon becomes Dharmatma. My devotee is never ruined. Go and declare this to the public. Krishna says that after the devotee became Ananya Bhakt, that it's given up all sorts of duties and surrendered to him, then again he will soon become a dutiful man. He's already given up religious duties and become a pure, he's already Sarva Dharman Parichaja. He's all ordinary considerations of duty. He's already given that up and become an exclusive devotee of the Lord. And soon he will become dutiful again as a result. Do you see the contradiction?
Yes. Thank you, Didi.
As Brahma, Narada, and Yamaraj discussed this point, they saw Bhaktivinoda Thakur walking in the sky, taking the holy name. So remember, these are fields of consciousness. Generally, the ordinary person cannot enter into a discussion going on between Brahma, Narada, and Yamaraj. We can't even see that. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur can see that. That's nothing for him. This is a stage of ordinary, elevated position within the world. So he can see that conversation and he can enter into it easily. But they saw him also. Then one of them suggested, there is a pure devotee. He should be able to give us the real meaning. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur was invited in their midst and was asked, how shall we discuss these points? Krishna has said that this person is an exclusive devotee, that he has renounced all sorts of duties and surrendered to Krishna, and yet in no time he will become dutiful? How can we understand this? Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained, he quickly becomes righteous does not refer to the devotee. It does not refer to the exclusive devotee, but to one who considers the exclusive devotee pure in all circumstances. That person becomes righteous. If one can understand this point, that one who is exclusively devoted to Krishna, he can't do anything wrong. He's living in another plane. He's not living according to the laws of the prison house. There's nothing wrong with him. Whatever he does will be glorious. So when Krishna is saying, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes, he's saying that person will soon become righteous. Who says this about the devotee? He will soon become a very highly elevated, righteous person, even if he's very low. If he can understand this point and say it, he will become a very elevated person. You follow?
Yeah.
It's about the devotee. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained this. Bhaktivinoda explained that he quickly becomes righteous refers not to the exclusive devotee, but to one who considers the exclusive devotee pure in all circumstances. Even if he performs some abominable act, he is really a sadhu, a saint. He's never selfish. He's never doing anything in the mood of exploitation. So what may be abominable in the prison house, you're not allowed to, do something in the prison house, you get some reaction. He's not abominable. He doesn't have to follow the rules of the prison house. He's not a criminal. In the prison house, you can't just get up and go to the bathroom without asking permission. You'll be arrested. You'll be stopped. But a person in the ordinary world doesn't have to do that. One who can think of an exclusive devotee in that way, he will soon become Dharmatma, a very righteous person of a high caliber, even for just thinking that, for just understanding that one point. This was Bhaktivinoda Thakur's explanation. In this way, if my commentary on Bhagavad Gita, Guru Maharaj is saying, I have followed Bhaktivinoda Thakur's explanation, I also saw that it was redundant to say that an Ananya Bhakti devotee becomes Dharmatma. Krishna says that an exclusive devotee should be thought of as a sadhu, an honest man. Right? One who says that an exclusive devotee, a soul surrendered to Krishna, should be thought of as pure, whatever his external practices. The man who is making this remark, he becomes very, very righteous. Guru Maharaj is just saying, he becomes righteous. This is the proper conclusion. What he says is 100% truth. And the next thing Krishna says, then the next thing that Krishna says is that one who can remark in such a way will be purified very soon. Krishna is so pleased by that remark, by that understanding, by that obeisance to the extreme transcendental position of a pure devotee. Now that's not talking about us. We're not on that level. We meaning me. That I can just do anything and everything and I'm going to think it's for Krishna. That can be a very dangerous practice. Krishna says that by such appreciation of the exclusive devotee, a person will soon come to the eternal duty and attain eternal peace. So beyond righteousness, he will actually himself come to that position of pure devotion, simply by this understanding. So I ask you, O son of Kunti, Arjun, go and promise to the public that my exclusive devotee will never be lost. He's not being lost by any behavior. And this goes so much with the verse that we are studying in Upadesamrita. Don't judge a pure devotee by anything, by any mundane standard. Right? Manasadi. Drishti Sabhava Janita. That verse number 6 is about this, actually. So parallel, these are parallel. Krishna says that by such appreciation of the exclusive devotee, a person will soon come to their eternal duty and attain eternal peace. So I ask you, O son of Kunti, Arjun, go and promise that in public that my exclusive devotee will never be lost. It's like, oh, he's falling down. No, that's never going to happen. Konteya pratijaniha na me bhakta nashiti. He's never going to be destroyed. Then you will get the benefit of the man whose remark improves his life. If we're always absorbed in the fault of someone, then we will get that benefit or that result. And if we are always absorbed in the position of the great Vaishnavas, then we will get that position. All right. Otherwise, why should Krishna tell Arjuna, quote, make a public announcement that my devotee is never ruined? Make a public announcement. Don't be afraid. Stand up and say it. What effect will there be for Arjuna? But one who declares an exclusive devotee of our Krishna is saintly no matter what they do, soon becomes righteous. If Arjuna declares this, he will become Dharmatma, he will get the benefit. So Krishna tells him, you make this remark, take a bold step, take a risk, and make this remark. Then you will also get the benefit that I have described. Of course, in the case of Arjuna, what's going on?
Bhima Krishna Prabhu said something.
Oh, okay. You want to read that?
Finish what you were saying.
Okay. Of course, Arjuna is a Parshad, and we are also trying to remember these things. An eternal associate of Krishna. But using him as an example, Krishna tells him, you do it, and you will become Dharma. He's already beyond Dharmatma. Arjuna is. But using him, there's an expression that Srila Prabhupada told us in Bengal, that the mother-in-law in Bengali tradition, when a son, a boy in the family gets married, that girl moves to that family's house. And the mother-in-law of that girl will instruct that girl by instructing her own daughter. You follow? You follow, Harde? So I'll tell that example again. When in Bengal, when a girl gets married, she moves into the house of her husband, meaning the family. The mother-in-law will be there, the father-in-law, and she lives with them. So it's an expression that the mother-in-law is teaching the daughter-in-law how to do things by instructing the daughter. So the daughter already knows, because she's been raised by that person. But in order to be gentle to the daughter-in-law, she instructs the daughter, and the daughter-in-law will see. That's a gentle way of doing things. So Krishna is instructing Arjuna. Arjuna already knows these things. He's an eternal associate of Krishna. But he's instructing us by instructing Arjuna. Isn't that a sweet analogy? Arjuna had taken the position of an inquirer and independent of his Parshad character, independent of the fact that he's an eternal associate of Krishna. Krishna is giving him instruction for our sake. And of course, a parallel thing is in Junior Haridas, that Krishna is instructing all future devotees of different kinds by instructing Haridas, or in this case, chastising Haridas very much, to make a very, very, very strong instruction to the future devotees who will think, oh, I can do this and this and this, and it's not a problem. It will be a problem for us, and it will be a problem for our associates, those who see that example. And so Mahaprabhu made a very strict instruction about this. Again, instructing us by instructing the daughter-in-law, the daughter who already knows. Junior Haridas could never fall down. He's an eternal associate of the Lord. He is Ananya Bhak. And actually what he does is never wrong. And in the end of this chapter, that is given very strong evidence about that. Wow! So many good things. Yes, Prabhu, what did Bimal Prabhu have to say?
Bhima Krishna Prabhu says, I feel like practicing the first verse really demands you to be present. It definitely shows us where our consciousness is. I always think about Sripad Tyagi Maharaj. He never gossiped or talked about mundane matters.
When you said to practice this first verse, it requires what? And one has to be...
Demands you to be present.
To be present, yeah.
Reminds you to be present.
Persistent, present?
I'm going to read it again.
No, just that one word, I don't know what it is.
Present.
P-R-E-S.
Present.
Sorry, I'm just having a hard time.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Present.
Present, yeah, it is. And that's, you know, it comes in degrees, and but by continually, I appreciate what you're saying, Bhima. It's very, very important to continually read things, because the first time we read something and the second time may not be the same. And of course we know, we've been reading Bhagavad Gita for me, like a long time, since 1970. But Gita class is always an adventure. It's always exciting. So these verses also, as you're saying, we are going to be reading them and new things are going to become clear by the grace. Guru Maharaj said these scriptures are divine consciousness in solid form. They're conscious substance, and they can reveal themselves to us. So we're really, really trying to, but it's just happening. It's just, I don't know, it's very, very helpful to notice, oh my God, why did I suddenly become angry? Is this really helping me to deal with this situation? And again, the Vaishnava, the Ananya Vaishnava may also show anger, but it is very different from ordinary anger. It is something that the Lord wants him to show to a disciple in order to rectify and help that disciple. But when we become angry because of this is not going the way I want, that is Krodha Vega. And that may not go away immediately, but just even noticing it, like, why am I angry? That gives us some sushamiksha, some introspection, some careful self-examination. Why did I become angry? Because material attachment. I don't want this and I don't want that. And so I'm angry. I'm not going to learn from this situation. I'm going to point my finger. It's all their fault. And I'm feeling this and that. It's all their fault. Nope. Anger actually clouds our intelligence. And these verses are so lovely, because all these different circumstances in which all these different kinds of vegam come out, they are our problem. Anything may happen, but these vegams are my problem. They're nobody else's problem. They're caused by my own self. Evatma kritam. I did this. I developed all these vegams. And now here I am, stuck in this, as Guru Maharaj says, we've been collecting moss over so many lifetimes. You know what moss is?
Moss? No, what is moss?
Moss is like, you know, when you go over to the park here in that fish pond, it's covered with that green stuff, that's moss.
Moss.
And it grows when the tank there's not enough oxygen, whatever, it grows. So Guru Maharaj says, over so many lifetimes I've been accumulating moss, and now I'm finding myself in this mossy tank, or this mossy pond. But it's my moss. I'm the one who collected that. Nobody else did that. And the Bhagavatam is described that the child in the womb is suffering so much that if he's fortunate, if he has some sukriti, he will find himself introspective, that it's my fault I'm finding myself in this situation. Nobody else here to blame. Right, Prabhu? When you're sitting in the womb, there's no one else to blame. There's no one else there. You're in solitary confinement. So a fortunate soul will say, yes, it's my fault that I'm in this womb again. It's my fault. There's no one else to blame. So we have to remember these things, and it takes a while because our whole consciousness is sometimes like, no, I'm not having it. Someone said tiny little thing and looked at me in some kind of way, and I'm never going to forgive them. And I'm going to show them all. Or one example, I'm just saying. But why am I reacting like that? That is my fault. And the situation come to show me that tendency in myself. This is really, really difficult to practice. Very difficult. We really have a habit. What does Sudarshan say? We are, last night at the program, you remember he was saying we are victim ninjas.
Yeah, that was funny.
Something happens, oh, I'm a victim. I did it. I'm a helpless victim. It's all unfair. We're like ninjas. Instead of shushamiksha. Okay, this is bringing this tendency out in me. Now I must look at that tendency. And in taking shelter of my guardian, I will accept that. And by doing so, the Lord may remove that. Remove that tendency from me forever. Hare Krishna, but in most cases we need a few more lessons. We make some progress and then, the mind doesn't remember me. This tendency is really nice, it's so sweet, it's like honey. And it's actually the cause of my suffering. Haribol. All right. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Sri Upadesamrita Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sri Rupa Goswami Ki
Jai.
Jai. Any other comments? Thank you. Very important. And sometimes we just let it, we indulge a little bit. Go tell a friend. I always go to Sudarshan. Yeah, I get that. But remember who's behind everything. Remember who's behind everything. After giving you that much comfort, calming you. Jai Sri Sri Guru Gaurachandra Adi Shah Sri Sri Guru Gaurachandra Ki Jai. To imagine the Lord without his devotees, his associates, this is never. It's never the case. Jai Shri Parika Shri Sri Guru Gaurachandra Gira Juki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Maharaj Acharya Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Maharaj Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai.
Jai.
Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki
Jai.
Jai. What does that mean? Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai.
Mahaprabhu and his associates.
Saparshad Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki
Jai.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki
Jai.
Jai Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Ki Jai. Kalishaka Mat Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mission Ki
Jai.
Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai.
Jai.
Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Devotional service Ki Jai.
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Premanandi Haribo.
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 Ganga Lila Didi was with us this morning. So Dave Ring. Hello, Dave Ring. And
What was
Bhima
that?
Krishna. Dave Ring, someone named Dave Ring is with us, watching us.
Dave Ring?
Yeah, Dave Ring.
Oh, David Ring.
Dave Ring.
Dave Ring, okay.
Hello, Dave Ring. Bhima Krishna Prabhu and Ganga Lila Didi.
Jai, Jai.
Jai. Have a great day.
Haribo.